Personally, I've always been a great believer in getting there on the day, putting my foot down and playing chicken with everyone else.
Oh.
But they don't want me doing that anymore. They want my body like a temple and my mind like a monk.
And what about your soul, your heart?
And they've got ideas about that too. They want me to stop messing around, settle down, get married with the next nice girl I meet. They think it would be good for me.
I'd like to start out by asking you about filming Rush, a challenge probably not seen before on screen.
Well, you know, it was a logistical challenge. It was frightening in as much as we learned we could do much, much more with the cars, analog, not digital, than I ever expected we could. Our precision drivers would do everything, overtakes, touches, everything but really have the cars disintegrate, which of course was too dangerous at 200 miles an hour, and we couldn't afford it. But that's where movie magic came in and came to our rescue.
How much time did you actually spend in the cars?
We did more than expected. They were afraid that we were super clumsy, but we weren't. We tested the cars, and then except a little accident that I had, it all went fine. And then we, eventually we drove.
It's kind of the nature of the shoot. Kind of, everything was kind of grab what we could when we could, and so a lot of the time it'd be quick. We've got 20 minutes. Jump in the car, strap the camera on the chassis somewhere, and take off. And it was. Which kind of added to the thrill and the movement of the movie, you know. And I think we did a lot more driving than was anticipated, just because it was, I don't know, the schedule fell that way. And
they only panicked when we approached the original Formula One cars from the 70s.
Yeah,
I think they were more concerned about the cars than of us.
Yeah.
Peter, when you were writing the film, you must have thought perhaps this can't be made.
Yeah, I thought this would be too expensive to make, so I wrote it as a sort of as a character drama, thinking, well, we'll never get the money to make, to shoot the driving scenes, and hopefully that's why it stands up as a film, on dramatic terms. I continue to be amazed every time I see a bit of the film, at what Ron managed to do with the action sequences. I never dared imagine we'd have anything like that. And we certainly didn't have the money to get it, so I'm still not quite sure what he did to do it. But
well, we had a couple of producers involved who were huge Formula One fans, and I think they really went to bat for the idea that we shouldn't just use archival footage, that we had to try to depict it, and that we possibly could. And then we had a crew of people who really were as dedicated as any of the actors or the other artists involved, and made it a labor of love. And they just they wanted to bring that world to life, the glamour of the 70s, the intensity of Formula One, and the authenticity of all of it.
Just got a little problem with an Austrian rat and his team of Italian cheats who've destroyed my car.
What are you talking about?
Talking about the race in Spain that I won.
Yeah, in a car, which is not legal.
5/8 of an inch too wide. You know that doesn't have the slightest effect on speed. But you complained, and your team have always leaned on the authorities. Now we've had to rebuild the car, and it's become a monster.
At least it's a legal monster.
So you've had to resort to cheating.
You're driving an illegal car and call me the cheat? It's pathetic.
Now, this must have been one of the most exhilarating roles you guys have ever taken. How was it to work at such speed, drive at such speed?
It's awesome. Yeah.
Beautiful women.
It's fantastic because you dive also into a period which, I didn't know, and I hadn't lived the 70s. I always heard from my parents that it was such a wild time, and it's fun, and especially a movie set in this Formula One world, dealing with those icons. And I love to play characters that you partly envy, and you can become them, for a certain amount of time,
It's often they have these larger-than-life characters are, built on fiction, whereas these guys were, it was factual. They were like this, their exploits or their attitudes and whatever were as big as you see on the screen, and that was, exciting to walk into and realise, wow, this is a true story. This is, and you want to give it all the respect you can. And as Daniel said, going into the 70s, which we obviously missed, and experience that was a trip.
It's a wonderful way to live. It's the only way to drive. The closer you are to death, the more alive you feel.